nothing changes. All I want is a moment to think clearly, but thoughts come unrelenting, consuming every waking moment. My mind binds me and I can't escape. I shout for help when no one hears me. One day I feel I'll just disappear. Lost in this chaos, I'm searching for peace, but it's hard to find when my thoughts never cease. Everything I do is all consuming. My mind races, leaving me breathless and worn. I try to find solace, but it's fleeting, leaving me with nothing but the echoes of my screams. I shout for help, but no one hears me. One day I fear I'll just disappear. Lost in this chaos, I'm searching for peace, but it's hard to find when my thoughts never cease. Who am I to say I deserve peace? Maybe I'm better off just fading away. It's what I'm used to, this isolation, but deep down I long for connection. I shout for help, but no one hears me. One day I fear I'll just disappear. Lost in this chaos, I'm searching for peace, but it's hard to find when my thoughts never cease.
Greetings and salutations, everyone, and welcome to the Dirt Sheet Radio Halloween Havoc post-show rewind. I am Tyler, the pro wrestling hipster. This is little Molly Holly here, and that badass jam that you heard opening the show and playing right now behind us, that is Lore of the Fighter, Doubt by Shucky Creations. Y'all, you need to check out the YouTube for Shucky Creations and listen to that. That was awesome. First time I actually heard that was live tonight. Absolutely jamming. It's got that like old school Raw versus SmackDown vibe. Like you could hear that on a 2K game. You could hear that on Raw versus SmackDown. Absolutely loved it. But guys, thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Molly's rocking and rolling here. It was a hell of a show tonight, guys. We are here to talk about Halloween Havoc 2024 live on Peacock tonight. It was a great show, but guys, before we can get into it, I got to give that shout out, that ever important shout out to our partner on the web, comicbookclick.com. Comicbookclick.com/Dirt Sheet Radio for all of your pop culture, comic book, professional wrestling, entertainment needs, everything, all in one sweet location. Check it out, make it your homepage. Look at it multiple times a day, just like we do. Not because we're legally obligated to do so, but because we love to do it. Folks, Halloween Havoc is in the books. Historically, one of my favorite pay-per-view themes going back to the WCW days. Sorry, Molly, apparently I got a little close to her there. But great show tonight. And as is tradition here on the DSR Rewinds, we will be talking about the main event first. The main event tonight was two-time Trick taking on All Ego Ethan Page, and it was a hell of a match here. It was Devil's Playground, which is basically souped up falls count anywhere. And guys, the story of the match here tonight was, can Trick do it? Can Trick go to that darker place, that more ruthless place? Maybe show that ruthless aggression here tonight. And for the most part, I think they told the story pretty well. I think that Trick was able to go to a slightly more violent place. But to be honest, I would have liked to have seen it be a little more so. Maybe some actual blood in the match. They can, Paige got his elbow busted open there, and as you saw, Trick was kind of dripping the blood there from the mouth. But I always question the authenticity of blood coming out of the mouth like that, especially when such a large part of the story going into it was Ethan Page telling Trick that he's never tasted the copper and that tinge of his own blood. And so tonight he was going to make him do that. But it worked, and that's storytelling, y'all. It looked great. They told a great story in the ring. The match itself was fantastic. Yeah, Mac. We're gonna get there here in just a minute. But bell to bell, I can't complain about the match. A lot of good action, a lot of fun. A jack-o'-lantern on the head. It's stuff like that you expect to happen in something like this. So a good mix of hijinks and actual ruthless violence. The washers, bolts, and nuts being spread across the ring. Nice little change up from the standard tacks or Legos or hard candy. Can be a lot of things. Rubber balls. Someone should do that. You never know. Crazy things happen in wrestling, guys. But after Trick Williams hits a trick shot to get the win in kind of an abrupt finish, but it was right under the 16-minute mark, 15 minutes and 54 seconds. But right after the win there, Trick celebrating, and he gets jumped from behind by Ridge Holland. And Ridge Holland, just goes on to kind of just wail on Trick for a bit, goes face to face with Ethan Page, and then they start to double team the champ until he's saved by Bubba Ray Dudley. So they had set up for this earlier in the night. For those of you that watched the pre-show, yes, Mac, I agree wholeheartedly, sir. But for those of you that watched the pre-show, or those of you that don't, Ridge and Bubba got into it a bit during that, and then they also, as you saw, had a run-in on the show there tonight, and then at the end of the show. So, yeah, so I'm guessing that when NXT is at the ECW arena here coming up on November 6th, we're going to be treated. It's not the word I want to use to describe a Bubba Ray Dudley match at this point in time, but there's going to be a tag match, I'm assuming, with Trick Williams teaming with Bubba Ray, taking on Ethan Page and Ridge Holland. And then I'm assuming after that, we're going to move into a Ridge Holland Trick Williams program. It just kind of feels like the logical direction for that to go. But yeah, so that's how NXT Halloween Havoc ended tonight, going off the air with Trick Williams and Bubba Ray Dudley standing tall. So I don't know. Honestly, I didn't necessarily see that coming tonight, his involvement in that way. It felt like something was probably going to happen with him and Ridge at some point, just because they kept having them butt heads at the pre-show. But I don't know. Do we really need Bubba Ray in there? I know what Mac thinks. I don't know what everybody else in the chat's feeling tonight, but I'm not really sure that we're in a place in 2024 where I get that it's the ECW arena. I understand that. Whoop that Trick indeed. Congrats again to Trick on retention that title tonight. I get it. It's ECW, but like there are so many. Thank you, Mac. That's great. Settled with the Bully Ray match. There are so many other ECW related talents that can go in the ring still that they could pull out for this. He did it during the pre-show tonight. He put on the old fake glasses and did it. But yeah, Bubba Ray. I guess he's back to Bubba Ray since it's a ECW related thing, but still, it's I believe Batista in his autobiography stated as the title of a chapter, Bubba Ray Dudley is an asshole. I'll let y'all go read that and look that up yourselves. But Batista not a fan of Bubba. But guys, that was the main event and the angle afterwards there in a nutshell. So we're going to hop around to the beginning of tonight's program and, break it down from the start here. So, tonight's NXT Halloween Havoc came to us from the Giant Center in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Crowd looked pretty good. I do apologize. Normally, I actually have a preliminary ticket count at the very least, but I did not pull that tonight, so apologies. But the crowd did look pretty good. I liked the arena setup tonight. I was a fan of bringing back the pumpkins and the jack-o'-lantern displays, the big ones out there. They had as the ambulance tonight. We'll talk about the ambulance match in a little bit. It was an old school ambulance, like the Ecto one, that was a wonderful touch. Love stuff like that. One of my big complaints about the stage designs for WWE's pay-per-views in years past have been that they don't do anything different anymore. You can remember back, Attitude Era, Ruthless Aggression, the stages were different month to month, and it was awesome to get to see what, silly little accoutrements or whatever they were going to put out there. And it was always a lot of fun. And I was really glad to see that come back tonight for Halloween Havoc. And I mean, why not? Halloween Havoc is a show that, has a little bit of camp to it anyway. It's a lot of fun to have something like that here. Gigi Dolan narrated the pre-show video, which showed some spooky stuff, and then ran down all of the matches to occur tonight. I should mention that probably the biggest piece of news that did come out of the pre-show was that Fatal Attraction decided what the stipulation would be for the match with Kalani Jordan later tonight, and it was going to be a gauntlet match, which I kind of called in my my preview that I wrote over on the Pro Wrestling Hipster page, and was also at the DSR page as well. I kind of called that sort of maybe a little, but I suggested it as a possibility at the very least. But that news came out of the pre-show there. But tonight's opening bout was the North American champion Tony D'Angelo, the Don of NXT, taking on the ruler Obafemi in a tables, ladders, and scares match. TLS, y'all. It's TLS tonight. Great opening bout. A lot of just fun, hard, hitting action. Lots of splintered tables. Every time a pumpkin got touched tonight, it got one hell of a pop. People were all about the possibility of pumpkins being used in some spooky carnage, and hey, I'm here for that. It's one of the things I love about stuff like this. But the match was really solid. Some of the booking decisions with Obafemi continue to confound me a little bit. I get that Sean, for some reason, is wanting to push Oba as just this hardline heel, but people want to cheer Obafemi. And the involvement of the family in the match, well, I understand, I think I understand the logic story side as to why it's okay that they were all involved in that way, but it didn't really work the way I think they wanted it to. So during the course of the match, when it looked like Oba might actually get the upper hand here and secure victory, the family, Luca Crucifino and Stax, ran down and immediately got shellacked by the ruler. Stax took a hell of a toss into the ring post. It was pretty sick looking bump. And right after that, there was a stare down between Adriana Rizzo and Oba. She held a crowbar, back down, and I feel like the subsequent stare down again with Adriana, where she was backing away from Oba in the ring, I feel like that was their justification for the repeated involvement of the family and the involvement of the family leading to the finish tonight. It was a chair shot. It was a code breaker with the chair in between, and then the Don hitting his finish and getting the pin. And they're the faces. Yeah, that's a good point, Mac. Yeah, normally, your TLC match, you're going to have that suspended. This was pin or submission for that, which I think is an option in some of the video games. But the family are allegedly the faces here, and I really think the involvement made them look heelish, weak. But again, through the veil of it being about protecting or avenging Adriana Rizzo, I get what they were going for. I'm just not sure if the execution was there. I think all of that carnage flying at Obafemi over staring down Adriana Rizzo was maybe a bit much. if he had, and look, I'm not advocating for this sort of thing, but if he had like shoved Adriana or something, or even if he was about to shove and they had Nikita Lyons, who we very clearly know attacked Adriana Rizzo Tuesday night, had her pull her out, like something like that would have made it a little more justifiable. But I don't know. Great match though overall. Tony D retains the North American Championship. So I assume that Obafemi is destined. Oh my God, really? Hey, you know what? We talk about NXT making folks believe in wrestlers that they didn't otherwise believe in or could get behind for a while, and it sounds like Mac might be coming around. Now, Mac, if we can just get you on board with Chase U, we'll be set. But a great match, guys. It was a lot of fun, and I get Tony D keeping it because I think that Oba's going to be moving on to higher ground. Not the main roster. That's not what I mean. I just mean main event programs, and I still think he's got a little time to cook before he's main roster bound. There's a lot of folks that disagree with me on that, but look closer. Like he's great talent. He's just very, very young. You don't want to risk that too fast, too soon, and he's still rough around some edges. But he's great. He's great. Like he's one of there's so many bright spots at NXT, but he is one of the brightest bright spots at NXT. So Tony D will continue his reign as North American champion, and I really look forward to seeing what they're going to do next with the ruler going forward. But from there, we were in the backstage area. Sarah Schreiber interviewing Lexis King. Lexis King, who seemingly has turned over a new leaf, a kinder, gentler, nicer Lexis King, who's just trying to find a friend. He just wants someone to be his corner man in his Heritage Cup match with Charlie Dempsey coming up this Tuesday night on NXT. And while he was, regaling us his tale of how no one wants to be his friend, no one's returning his calls, no one will text him back. He's being left on red, folks, left on red. But he was approached by, I think, a surprise, William Regal. And William said that he would be the corner man for Lexis King this Tuesday night against his own flesh and blood. Guys, this is quite the turn of events. I didn't have that one on my NXT bingo card this evening. This could have a few different directions. I mean, do you just have Regal it up and turn on King immediately and align officially with the No Quarter Catch crew, or is this going to be some sort of scuffle between father and son? I don't know, but it's gonna be a fun time Tuesday night, and I always love seeing William Regal. Oh yeah, they absolutely did. And same. William Regal's awesome. He's just one of the best talents that's ever stepped in a ring. Great character, incredible in ring, and he's a really nice guy. I ran into him in New Orleans during WrestleMania 30. Fantastic guy. But yeah, guys, this was a cool segment. I always am happy to see William Regal pop on my TV, and the crowd was too. So looking forward to that match Tuesday night for the Heritage Cup when William Regal is in the corner opposite his son. After this, they had a quick replay of the pre-show segment with Fatal Influence, deciding what the stipulation was going to be for the Women's North American match to take place later this evening. But next on the card, we had Julia and Stephanie Vaquer taking on NXT Women's Champion Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade. Cora Jade and Roxy teaming together again, former NXT Tag Champions, and that was part of the story here. Would they be able to function better than Vaquer and Julia, as they'd really only teamed together once prior to this? Great match, guys. This one went, goodness gracious, I had to look at my time there. 13 minutes, 45 seconds. Pretty good amount of time for this. It actually felt like a little bit longer, not in a bad way. They just told a really compelling story here. Everyone got a lot of good shine in. And yeah, a bit of a miscommunication and bump between Cora and Roxy kind of led to the dominoes falling that led to the finish of Roxanne Perez getting pinned by Stephanie Vaquer. That's big. I figured that Stephanie and Julia were going to win this match. I didn't know who was going to take the pin. I really assumed it was going to be Cora. But Stephanie McKeer pinning the champion puts her right in line for a title shot. And after the match, we had a appearance and stare down as she, just surveyed the NXT women's landscape. Zarya, formerly Delta, making her presence known there. It wouldn't be the last time we saw her tonight. But yeah, guys, the NXT women's division is just so flipping great. There are so many moving pieces here and so many directions they can go. Obviously, Julia, you think it. Yeah, yes, it was. Just great action, just hard hitting. They all work really well together. Really not behind Julia. Well, I don't know. Give her some time. She's good. She's good. But yeah, I really dug this. But speaking of Julia, she also has a claim to try to get another shot at the women's championship, being that her shot was ruined by the interference of Cora Jade. And we'll see if this loss immediately disrupts the reunited friendship of Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez. But guys, I dug this a lot. I've said this numerous times. I'll say it again. The NXT women's division has so many moving pieces and so many logical jumping points that they could go in for so many different great feuds. And there's a lot of matches here. It's going to be a fun. It's always fun, but it's going to be a really fun year for NXT women. It always is. It's going to be just better and better. That's all I can say. It just continues to improve week after week, month after month, and I'm 100,000% here for it. I know that's mathematically impossible, but nonetheless, I'm here for it. All right. From there, we had a backstage segment with Javon Evans and Cedric Alexander, where Javon was kind of lamenting slapping across the face. And he asked Cedric if he would have done the same thing. And he's like, well, no. But, you're you, man. And, people are going to do skin. You're going to react, and it's fine. But I like the pairing of them. Again, it's good to see Cedric on TV. It gives Javon a guider, a mentor to work with there and, tag with and, have in his corner and teach him things. And Cedric's a good guy to play that role for sure. But from there, we went into the crowd for a segment with Dave LaGreca and Bubba Ray Dudley. Like I said, they did one of these during the pre-show as well. And they were, oh, hi, Ziggy. They were talking about the ambulance match that was to come. And, of course, the match that just occurred prior to that, which was the tag match with Julia and Stephanie Fakir taking on Roxy and Cora Jade. But, from that, I guess I want to say ringside segment. They weren't really ringside necessarily. They were adjacent in the crowd. But that, I would say if I don't know, Roxy's been in the last two women's rumbles, and I've been saying for a while, her move to the main roster is probably imminent. And if that's the case, I think that she for sure would be in the Rumble, and I'd like to see her actually make her main roster move via the Rumble this year. But I'd say NXT women's roster, you're going to see at least three. There's a lot of women to put in these matches now, even on the main roster. So there's not as many spots to be taken from developmental. But 3 to 5. We'll say 3 to 5. 3 to 5. But the next match that we had on the Halloween Havoc card was the ambulance match, or as John Cena once said, ambulance. The ambulance match between the founder of Chase U, Andre Chase, and that dastardly, evil, despicable, horrible human being, Rich Holland. Guys, this was pretty brutal. It was a lot of hard hits, a lot of big bumps. Loved Andre Chase's Freddy Krueger shirt. Thought it was fantastic. Thought big for that, big horror movie guy. So that. I mean, I usually am wearing my Pennywise Hawaiian shirt here on the streams, but lots of fun, guys. Again, very violent. in a WWE safe sort of way, but that's what it needed to be. Andre Chase was out for vengeance here against Ridge Holland, but when it was all said and done, though, that despicable, horrible, awful man, Ridge Holland, slams the Ecto 1 shut and wins the ambulance match. And we'll be moving up the card, at least temporarily. I don't know what he's going to do after that, but I, on a personal standpoint, really wanted Andre Chase to win this match. I said it in my preview as well, but for me, it was kind of a must-win for Andre. I don't see how Chase U can carry on after such a loss. I mean, it's been loss and scandal and loss and scandal. I love that. I love that university. You know, it's a wonderful institution of learning, and I hope that they can continue to flourish and bounce back from this. But it's rough going. But great match, though. I was talking to some of the other guys here at DSR before the show went live tonight. I love getting to see Andre Chase wrestle these PLE matches. Until a few months ago, I had no idea that he was this good in the ring. And he's a great guy at NXT. He's a good guy to have down there, again, to work with these talents like this. And, you know, that's why I love Chase U. It's a way to almost immediately elevate talent, kind of give them a little cachet and gravitas without having to do a lot. And that's something important for NXT. So I hope that they can figure out a way to keep Chase U going. And, you know, I do think that Chase U is one of those acts that is a NXT lifetime act. People in Chase U, I can absolutely see eventually going onto the main roster and doing other things. But I think Andre is a lifer for NXT, and I think Chase U is going to be a mainstay down there. And that's not a bad thing. There is nothing wrong with having a career spent at NXT. It's great, you know. There's, you know, you can still get a good name out there and, you know, have a great living at it and train, you know, and make your mark, your lasting mark via the people that you help train and come up and reach their full potential. And, I mean, that's a more lasting legacy than a lot of wrestlers have, you know. But, yeah, Mac, Ridge, it's, you know, there's definitely a large section of the fan base that's never really going to be able to see past the injuries, not just Big E's, but the several other that he caused. But I don't know. NXT has been able to, at the very least, I think, rehab his character. They've made him interesting. This Chase U angle has been enthralling. And, you know, and part of that's because I'm a big Chase U guy. I like Chase U. And I want to see Andre get in there and knock the shit out of a Ridge, and it didn't happen that way. But that's what we watched. But clearly, from tonight's post-main event angle, Ridge is going to be, you know, he's going to be up in a main event program for a little while. That tag match that I'm assuming will happen at the ECW arena, and I think he'll be in some sort of one-on-one program with Trick Williams as well. So I mean, they're doing something with him, but after that, I don't really know what you do with Ridge Holland at NXT. That's that trajectory. He's, I don't want to say turn it around. You know, he pretended to be a nice guy for a while and then proved himself to be the scorpion snake that he is, and Sting bit everybody. Yeah. Oh man. But yeah, the match went 14-32. I get why Ridge won, especially considering, you know, what they're doing with him post the main event tonight. But I really wanted Andre to get this, guys. I like Andre Chase. We'll see. But after that, we had a quick little vignette with Nikita Lyons, talking about how she's a multi-dimensional superstar because she can dance and sing and kick. Maybe soon she could make one of those dimensions acting. Yeah. So Nikita Lyons. She's going to be locked in. I assume that feud with Adriana Rizzo here for a little bit. Maybe we'll get a tag match with Open, her taking on the family, but I don't know. They didn't say tonight either that she was the one that attacked. I'll talk about that segment a little bit, but they implied it again. But Staying in the kind of backstage earlier today sort of area here, we had Axiom and Nathan Fraser had a scene. It looks like they're back on rocky territory here, guys. Axiom and Nathan Fraser, they are so hot and cold with this potential breakup, potential feud. They're all groovy again. They've gone back and forth about as many times as Big Show has turned heel and face. Thereabouts. It's a similar number. And they're on the rocks again, which is fine. I really want to see some matches with them, but I want them to stay together longer. I like them as a tag team. I'd really like to see them get a chance to work with the Motor City Machine Guns now that they're Fed side. But they didn't have kind words to say here. At one point, Fraser flat out asked Axiom if he could be any more condescending towards him. And Axiom said, yeah, then I could be you. It's just like, damn, boys. Like, can we just shake hands and, be friends? You're a good team. Good team, guys. After that, we had Sarah Schreiber talking to Ava. They quickly discussed Mr. Regal concerning being the corner man for Lexus King. Just quick little interview segment here. I've said this before. I will say this again. Ava continues to improve in this role. Speaking of, acting being a dimension that Nikita Lyons could lean into, whatever acting coach they've hired for Ava, that's who they probably need to have working with almost everyone, because she's improved a lot, I feel, in probably about 6 months or so that we started to assume she was working with the coach. Whenever The Rock realized that people were saying that she was doing a poor job in NXT. But, all right, guys. Next up on the card in the last match I will be discussing and breaking down. Now, it was only a 5-match card tonight, guys. Easy peasy. This was the gauntlet match for the NXT Women's North American Championship. Kalani Jordan having to take on all of Fatal Attraction here tonight. And so this was good. I was behind this. Again, I sort of called it in my preview, but Kalani Jordan first was facing Jasmine Nix. This went about 3 minutes, 32 seconds or so before Kalani took Nix out of the running for the North American Championship. Up next was JC Jane taking on the champ. This didn't go too long, went about 4 minutes there, and Kalani was able to knock JC out of action here. And I want to say, too, before we move on to the last bit here, Kalani was looking a lot tighter and a lot more smooth in her moves and actions here tonight. Previous to tonight, and I still think it was her best match, but that match with Solruka was head and shoulders her best match. This is a very, very close second. I feel I thought that she gave it her all here tonight. She hit everything pretty much perfectly, and she looked great. However, Fallon Henley, the third woman and the final woman of Fatal Attraction to face Kalani Jordan tonight, was able, with some nasty business from Fatal Attraction, to secure victory and capture the NXT Women's North American Championship for herself and for Fatal Attraction. Great match. The story was good here. I'm sure they will have a one-on-one rematch with her and Kalani, and I look forward to that. Guys, a lot of folks, when they had that ladder match for the NXT North American Championship, a lot of folks thought it was going to be Fallon Henley or Solruka winning that. Kalani Jordan was pretty much sixth on everyone's list to win that match. And it was a rocky start to her reign as North American Champion. But I really think she got it together there by the end of this, and she found her footing and was, filling the role as North American Champion well. So, in the future, I'm sure she will have more title reigns, North American Champion, possibly even the NXT Women's Championship. She'll do well with those, and she'll carry herself well. She learned to be a champion on the fly here. It was an experiment that they did, and overall, I'd call her reign a success. And good job there. But the match, great. I'm excited for a Fallon Henley title reign. I said this the other day, but going into this, this was kind of a must-win for Fatal Fatal Influence. That's the first time I've slipped on that. This was a must-win for Fatal Influence. They're really pushing them and wanting the perception of them to be a dominant, tough group of women that are just running roughshod over NXT. And they needed this. This is something they needed to really kind of secure that perception. So kudos to the booking, kudos to the great match, and kudos to all of the women involved in that match. After the match, Fallon Henley began to cut a promo, but was cut off by Zarya, who hit the ring and shellacked all of Fatal Influence. Dominant, winning, sure, but Zarya's coming for that, and I look forward to that. So I'm hoping that they don't jump straight to a Zarya Fallon Henley match. I'd like to see them kind of have her work through Fatal Influence. So hopefully that's the way they go. And they did say that Zarya will be in action this coming Tuesday night on NXT. Fantastic, guys. A great match, great segment. After that, before the main event tonight, we did have Sarah Schreiber back in the backstage region talking to Tony D'Angelo and the family. And good segment here. Again, like, there's nothing heelish that they're really pushing about the family, which I understand the circumstance and what they were going for tonight and why they booked it the way they did. I know what they were going for, what they were trying to do with it. Just didn't think it quite worked. But great segment here, and they did bring up that Adriana Rizzo was going to be out to take down her attacker from Tuesday night. And they didn't say here, again, who it was. Again, it was Nikita Lyons. I don't know why they're not saying that and just kind of like holding that over everyone's head, but okay, it's Nikita Lyons. But yeah, so I think that means Tuesday night we're going to have Adriana Rizzo and Nikita Lyons, presumably. Zarya will be making her in-ring debut. We're going to have the Heritage Cup match between Lexis King and Charlie Dempsey with William Regal in Lexis King's corner. And the NXT Tag Team Championships will be on the line when Fraxium defends against Javon Evans and Cedric Alexander. So that's going to be a great NXT Tuesday night. We'll be here to talk about that. And that was a great Halloween Havoc, guys. That was a lot of fun. I love professional wrestling, clearly. I love Halloween and horror movies. So this is one of my favorite events of the year. It's a Spookiest Reese Cup. Oh my God, thank you. Thank you, John. I completely missed the segment. That was after this. I got ahead of myself. So Booker T and Vic Joseph were up in the stage area there, and they were breaking down the Devil's Playground concept, talking about where all the fun toys were and all the places the match could end. And as Booker was walking around the set and kind of looking in tombstones and things, he flipped open one of the shipping containers they use, and out pops Tatum Paxley, jump scaring Booker T. And Tatum, very winded from being in that box since Tuesday, stumbles out. Ava comes out, is trying to get her to medical, but she breathlessly demands a match with Wendy Chu, spins the Halloween Havoc wheel, and she gets a casket match. A casket match. So that also, Tuesday night, Ava made it official. We are going to have Wendy Chu and the kind of kidnapped Tatum Paxley in a casket match. So, guys, hell of a show coming together for Tuesday night. Hell of a show tonight. It was a lot of fun, guys. I appreciate that. Wow. Again, I appreciate so many of you sticking with us tonight, even though it's just little old me sitting here chatting and talking away. I really, really appreciate you guys. But I've got some news for you. Okay? If you enjoyed what you heard here tonight, it's not usually just me. So you usually get more people talking. But we're not just here to cover NXT PLEs. No. I do it even though that's all we were doing. We're also here to talk about Monday Night Raw on Mondays. We're here to talk about NXT on Tuesdays. We're here to talk about AEW Dynamite on Wednesdays. We're talking about TNA Impact on Thursdays. And of course, Friday nights are for SmackDown. And guys, if you're up super late on Wednesday nights after the AEW Dynamite Rewind, be sure to check out the DSR flagship program where you can hear the guys break down the week of professional wrestling. It's super late, though. If you're like me and got to be up early, check it out Thursday mornings. It's a little bit easier that way. And guys, on the weekends, there are a couple things. Sundays, CJ and I are getting our act together, guys. October has been busy, so apologies there. But hey, that's coming to an end. So here pretty soon, we will be coming back towards you with CJ and Tyler's Weekend Wrestling Roundup. That's Roundup with a W. But actually taking place every single Sunday, the guys over at 3NT are breaking it down and putting together great content and great shows week after week. And God, it's such a crisp graphic. And they did a live watch-along of NXT Halloween Havoc today. If you didn't check that out, check it out, guys. Always lots of wonderful real-time analysis from them on that. Now, before we get rolling here tonight, I do have to talk about the NXT Jobber of the Night for Halloween Havoc. Oh, guys, there were a couple good choices here tonight. I got to give it to someone that I respect. It's not Bubba Ray Dudley, because I said it's someone I respect. Mac's Jobber of the Night is Bubba Ray Dudley. But I got to give it to a man that I really do admire, and that's Andre Chase. Andre, I'm disappointed in you, friend. I really hope you can pull it out and bring glory back to Chase U tonight and put down that horrid, dastardly, awful human being, Ridge Holland. I mean, you couldn't get it done. And yeah, Lauren, you're with me on that one, Lauren. It's a sad state of affairs for Chase U right now, but I hope they can rise again to their glory days. But for tonight, they didn't, couldn't, wouldn't. And Andre, you're my jobber of the night. But let's move on to a brighter spot. The NXT Megastar of the Night tonight. Guys, now, I was able to narrow it down for the jobber when it was all said and done. I had a much more difficult time doing that tonight. So often as I do, Lauren, you're one step ahead of me. Half of my Megastars of the Night are actually the teaming of Stephanie Vacker and Julia. But I do think that Stephanie Vacker, she really, really showed it out tonight. They, I don't know if it was an issue of them just giving her a little more shine in the way things were booked, or if that's just the way it all panned out. But I think that she showed folks something here tonight that weren't maybe as familiar with her, and fantastic. I look forward to the one-on-one title match between her and Roxanne Perez that I'm sure we'll be getting in the near future. But yeah, Stephanie and Julia, but a little extra props to Stephanie. And then my other tonight, two-time Trick Williams, y'all. The crowd reactions this man continues to get week in and week out at the PLEs, at the Performance Center. And again, just an audience of this size tonight, you can really hear that pop, that deep, deep chant of whoop that Trick. Fantastic. And again, the finish was a bit abrupt, but the right guy won the match. Trick Williams needed to keep that belt. And I look forward to this second Trick Williams title run. I think that some of the pieces of the Trick Williams puzzle that weren't 100% there when he won that first championship are starting to take place, and I look forward to what they do with him. But guys, that's NXT in a nutshell. I really appreciate you guys. I'm Tyler, the Pro Wrestling Hipster. This is little Molly Holly here. And, you can find me at The Pro Wrestling Hipster over on Facebook. After you go like DSR, you can come and like and follow me as well. And it was a fantastic night. I am on Instagram and Twitter, but it's at PW Hipster. Don't do a whole lot over there. I had a wonderful time breaking down NXT Halloween Havoc. Thank you all so much for tuning in live tonight, sticking with us. We'll be back live again, guys. Take us away, Lore of the Fighter, Doubt. Have a wonderful night, everybody.